If you have double hung windows like these and you want to lock them in an open position, but not so open that people can crawl through, I have got a solution that works in just about every case. So I found online on Amazon, there were a number of different little systems that you could use to try to lock these open, but they just never worked for me. There were things that would clamp on, you could screw them on, but my windows didn't have the right channels. There were spots that there were things that you could use to block it open if you had a big enough, like a wood window that has a really wide frame around it. But my windows didn't have that. And so I came up with a solution that will work for, I think, any window that opens vertically like this. So it's based on sliding glass doors where you put a piece of wood in the channel so the door can't open or close, and you can just decide how far to open it. And I read on the internet someone was doing this, essentially putting that piece of wood vertically and using some Velcro to hold it in place. So let me show you what I did. So I think having the windows open about 5 inches, maybe 4 inches is good for security purposes, letting the cool air blow in at night, say, without someone crawling through. And so what I did was open the windows about 5 inches and then measure the distance between the top of the frame and the top of the window. And I just have a little 1/2 inch area where I can put this piece of wood. So I got some 1/2 inch Velcro on Amazon. And then I got some wooden dowels. They're called square dowels. Got those over at Home Depot, and I just cut the dowels to fit in that spot, attached the Velcro both to the frame and then to the dowel. And now I can put those in, pull them out without any problem. Now, I do have that little 1/8 inch gap that I have to play with. If you don't have that gap in your windows, you might have a little bit more of a problem. You might be putting this piece of wood onto the window glass itself instead of on the frame, which is where I was able to put it. I used 1/2 inch dowels and 1/2 inch Velcro. And you don't need to put Velcro down the entire strip of wood. In fact, I'd encourage you not to do that. I put 2-inch strips at the top and the bottom, but I'm switching over to using 1-inch strips. It's just that they're really hard to pull off that Velcro. So I think using a little bit less is a better thing. Also, make sure that there's space for you to pull that. So don't put it up against the edge so that you can't get your fingers around it to pull the piece of wood off. The top of my window needed to have a little notch cut in that, in the wood. And the first time I did this, I forgot that I was gonna add that about 1/8 of an inch for the 2 pieces of Velcro. So just make sure you're taking that into account when you decide how to notch the wood if you need to add a notch. Just make sure that if you do notch it, then you put the Velcro on the right side of the dowel. And once I had made the first one, I just used that as a template to cut all the rest of them to the exact same shape and size. There are links below to the Velcro that I used from Amazon and also the dowels that I used from Home Depot. This was based on how big my windows are, so maybe if you wanted the slightly bigger ones. However, I wouldn't go too big because that Velcro really sticks really tightly, and it can be really hard to pull these off when you want to open the window bigger. And of course, you could paint or stain yours. I'm just going with the raw wood.